So give us all a bit of your understanding of the makeup of this increase. I mean, is it more students? Is it more skilled workers in the areas where we really need people? What sort of migrants are we picking up?
Well, what's happened is that we had brewing for some time a very large backlog of visa applications of all sorts. And at some stage or other, that backlog would have had to have been cleared. As you know, from your own background in this space, once a person has made a valid legal application for whatever visa, they must be considered against that legal requirement. So the clearance of the backlogs had to take place. This government started clearing those backlogs, and as a consequence, the two big increases in numbers were firstly students, and the students really were driven very significantly by a decision from Alex Hawke to provide unlimited work rights to students. That created a huge pull factor of students who wanted to come to Australia more to work rather than to study. The second big group is people arriving on visitor visas and changing status after arrival. The number of people who have done that is bigger than anything I've ever seen before.
So just on that point now, Alex Hawke, for people at home, was a former Liberal Party minister. If people are coming here and we assess their visa applications for student entry or for visitor entry, but they come to Australia and they've got completely different objectives, right? They get here and they change their status and they say they want to stay here permanently. We've sort of not assessed them coming in, have we, for the right reasons? Are they going to add to the skills mix we need here? We're sort of just then allowing them to shuffle across without being, I think, clear-eyed about what sort of migrant makeup we want when we're filling these gargantuan numbers of 200,000 and 300,000.
Yes, that's true. I would view this differently for students than for visitors. In respect of students, the key here is to make sure we guide them into courses that are going to be both in their long-term interests and in Australia's long-term interests, because they are a major source of skilled migration to Australia. They have been for over 20 years. And governments have frequently pretended that they don't, or that they aren't. And indeed, Chris Evans introduced a criteria called the genuine temporary entry requirement, which required immigration officers to discern whether someone had some sneaky idea in the back of their mind that they might want to migrate. As you know, making those sorts of assessments is just impossibly difficult. We need to get rid of that. We need a better ecosystem for managing our overseas student visa system, and we don't have a good one now. It has fallen into disrepair over a long period of time. We need to get rid of unlimited work rights for students and go back to student visas, which are about, surprise, surprise, study. In respect of visitor visas, those have always had to be managed carefully on a risk basis. And what appears to have happened over a number of years, and this was happening before the pandemic, where the number of visitor arrivals changing status was growing very, very rapidly. It grew very rapidly for 2 years before the pandemic. It slowed during the pandemic, and then it's grown again very massively after the pandemic. Clearly, our policy settings in respect of visitors are not working well.
Abul Rizvi, that is very, very comprehensive. I think everyone can follow that at home. It's a really important issue. I think we've got more information out of you than we've got out of ministers for the past decade. Thank you for your time.